Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this video today. So in this video I'm going to be answering some questions that I've received from viewers, and I usually ask for questions on Facebook and Twitter, but I have a lot of questions from Tumblr that I haven't answered yet because for some reason I always forget to answer the Tumblr questions. So I'm just going to answer those questions in this Q&A because I think they're very important and good questions. And yes, I can make entire videos on like every single question I get. Well, not every single question. Well, I guess so. I could make like individual videos on every question I get, but I personally like just making long Q&As where you can sit down, watch it with some lunch or a snack or whatever if you're bored, and just sit down for 20 minutes and watch the whole thing, 15 or 20 minutes. I know some people just have no attention span for long videos, so if that's how you are, then you know what, just pause the video and come back to it later and finish it, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm going to answer questions from Tumblr, but by the way, if you are desperate for me to answer your question, then please consider subscribing to exclusive content on my new app or becoming a patron. So I do have a app, if you didn't know. It's a new app and it's available both on Apple and Android, and if you search Raw Sammy in the Apple Store or on Google Play, you will find it. So same name as my channel. It's an awesome app because it has a forum, and the forum is kind of like Instagram, which I think is really cool. So you basically just like post a photo, can be like related to the thing you want to talk about or not related to the thing you want to talk about. It doesn't really matter, just post a photo, and then below the photo you can type whatever you want to type, and then people can respond to you and you can have a conversation, or you can just share things. So it's like Instagram where you can just share things or talk about things, and you can have like a back and forth, and I'm on there all the time, like every day, because I really enjoy, you know, interacting with all of you guys, and that's the best way to talk to me one-on-one, I think, or not one-on-one, but talk to me in general. So like, I don't know, I think it's a really good app and a good community. On the forum you can talk about not serious topics, you can talk about mental health topics, you can talk about whatever you want, no judgment from me, at least. Hopefully it'll be like a safe space where we can just talk about anything we want and be helpful for each other and stuff like that, and give each other advice. You can ask questions there and all this stuff. Anyway, yeah, the app is free to download, but if you want your question to be guaranteed answered, like if you're always asking a question and I never seem to get to your question or whatever, something like that, go over to the app and subscribe to exclusive content. And if you want more information about that, then please see the description, because I want to go ahead and get to the Q&A. But if you're interested in signing up for exclusive content on my app to make sure that you get your question answered, if you have a lot of questions or whatever, then I highly encourage you to take the time and check out the description and get more information about signing up for exclusive content on either my app or my Patreon, either one. Okay, so the first question is, can you please do a video about having bipolar in high school? Love your videos, by the way. So I really should make a total video on this topic, but just so I can go ahead and give you some sort of answer, yes, I will try and make a video dedicated to mental illness in school. I've actually already done at least one video on mental illness in school, but not specifically high school, because I didn't really have bipolar symptoms when I was in high school. I had really bad symptoms of social anxiety when I was in high school, but I didn't really get bipolar symptoms till college. So I've made a few videos about college and bipolar disorder, but I haven't made any videos about bipolar in high school. But just because I know what it's like to have bipolar and I know what it's like to be a high school student, I could probably just mesh those two pools of knowledge together and try and give you some sort of advice about this and make a video about that. So I will try and make a video about that, but I'll try and like real quick think of any like tips I can give you. I'm just gonna like try and quickly come up with like at least one thing, and then I'll try and make a video about this later. So my advice would be to keep taking medication, because that's really the safest route you can go. I know a lot of people are scared of medication, but honestly, the alternative to medication is worse in a sense, because if you do find the right medication, you're gonna have a lot smoother sailing than if you're just medication free and having regular symptoms. It's going to be kind of a messy situation for a lot of reasons. And so my recommendation, I know it's a boring recommendation, but to just, I don't know how far along you are in your treatment, but I really hope that everyone is in treatment or planning on going to treatment. So I don't know how far along you are in your treatment, but please find a counselor to talk to you about it. Your school counselor, if there's no other way you can talk to anyone about it, at least go to your school counselor. And if your parents are getting you into therapy and getting you into to see a psychiatrist or a doctor to get on medication, then that is great. So just make sure that you are compliant with your medication. Take it like you would a vitamin or something like that, because it is very important, and I think it is helpful a lot for that. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say now. I will try and make another video about this, because I get this question a lot about going to school when you have a mental illness. So that's my main bit of advice, because it's better than not being on medication, and I think just not doing anything about it makes things worse, because it is a medical condition. Unfortunately, we just have to admit that it is a medical condition that's kind of like beyond our control, and we can't really control it by like positive thinking or relaxing or meditating as much as people would like to tell you that you can cure it that way. It's not really realistic. So please, if you do have a severe case of bipolar that requires medication, then just be compliant with whatever medication works for you and actually helps you. And you might have to change the medication at some point, but whatever, just do whatever you can to focus on yourself. Don't try and deal with your friends' problems, don't try and deal with your family's problems. Focus on yourself and making sure you're healthy, because your main responsibility in high school is to make good grades, because that's going to set you up for your future. And I know people are constantly telling you that, but just trust me, you're going to want to do well in high school. You don't have to like bend over backwards to do well in high school. Like, it's fine if you make some B's. Like, I made like a C like at least twice, I don't know, but I got into a really good school. So just make sure that you try the best you can. Like, don't drive yourself insane trying to make straight A's or anything like that, but do the best you can, try and learn things, and make sure you have all your ducks in a row as well as you can, because you never know what's going to happen down the road. You're never going to know when you're going to realize that either you made a mistake by not studying and doing well in school and taking care of yourself, versus I don't know. Just trust me, you're gonna be glad that you learned a thing or two in high school and did well and graduated and all that stuff. So just make sure that you take care of yourself, and don't try and take care of your friends. Don't try and get into drama and stuff like that. I know a lot of people just love drama, and that's their thing, but my recommendation is to not get wrapped up in that sort of thing. Okay, so that's my main recommendation, is take care of yourself and put yourself first and your grades first and stuff like that, because really, you really need that foundation of education for later. And I don't want people to like stress out about their future, because your future's gonna happen whether you like it or not. Just kind of have to go with the flow, really. But you do want to study and stuff like that. And I'll make a video with like studying tips and all this stuff. I'll try and get more information later. Okay, next question. I wanted to say I love your YouTube videos. They're very informative and interesting. Also, I was curious, what kind of meds are you taking? And also, do you ever feel more boring because you are on meds and stable? Oh, I'm so mad because I just recorded a lot of my answer to you, and I forgot to push the record button, and it didn't record any of it. And I feel like my answer was really good, so I have to like try and remember what I just said. I don't even remember when I've stopped recording, but I'll just start with, okay, I'll just start with, do you feel more boring because you're on meds and stable? Okay, so I don't feel more boring because I feel like I'm not a boring person regardless. So I feel like you're either a boring person or you're not a boring person, and I don't think I'm a boring person regardless. So, I mean, I think people with bipolar disorder are still going to be interesting people, even if they're stable. They're just going to be like, easier to get along with, easier to get on in the world, like easier to function in the world, and just easier to live, not have those highs and lows. So I don't think it makes you boring. I think it makes you normal, not normal, but functional. And there's nothing wrong with being functional. Like, being functional doesn't automatically make you boring. You're either a boring person or a not boring person. And I don't think being crazy is the determining factor of you not being boring. I think, if you have hobbies, if you can have like an interesting conversation with people, I mean, your hobbies and your your things you like to talk about, and the things you like in the world, and your activities, and you're still going to have interesting thoughts. It's not like I guess it depends on what medication you're on, but the medication I'm on doesn't stop me from having interesting insights or interesting ideas. It doesn't stop me from feeling emotions, being creative, or being inspired, or anything like that. Like, I'll still get inspired by things, and I'll still get angry about things which inspire me to be more creative, or I'll still get sad about things, or upset about things, or inspired about things, or happy about things. Like, I really just don't think it changed me that much, other than making me not have highs and lows. So I think that's a good thing. I don't think the thing that makes you not boring is having mania and having depression. I don't think that determines your level of, interestingness or whatever. I think that goes back to, like, glamorizing mental illness and thinking that, there's something glamorous about having symptoms of a mental illness. I think it's a little silly, and it's glamorizing mental illness instead of glamorizing just being a human, and having a human life and experiencing what it's like to be a human. You don't have to have a mental illness in order to be an interesting person. I think, usually when you have a mental illness, you're going to be interesting whether or not you're on medication. I know a lot of people out there aren't interesting at all, but, I don't think the determining factor is having mental illness, or having mental illness symptoms. Okay, anyways. Okay, next question. Okay, so this is more of a question that pertains just to me. Well, it could for others as well. I was just wondering how you got the motivation to finish your bachelor's and master's. I am 25, and I started my bachelor's at the normal age of 18. I did 3 semesters in a row and then just stopped. I tried going back a couple of times and dropped out before I could finish those particular semesters. I also started cosmetology school, and I quit that. So like I said, I'm going to make another video about this, and I've made a few previous videos about college, but you might have to search for them because they were a long time ago. But anyways, I got the motivation to finish. Okay, so this is kind of personal to me also. The way I got the motivation to finish is kind of silly, honestly. It was because of the person who I was dating at the time, and I was like totally in love with him and all this stuff, and he really urged me to go back. Like, I'm the same way. I dropped out at least twice. I think, I dropped out for real 2 times. But the reason I went back, and the reason I had motivation to finish, and this is like the most pathetic story ever, and I don't recommend getting this motivation to do something for anyone else. Please don't. Just being completely honest, the way I got motivation to finish was because I was trying to please someone else. And, if you're trying to please your parents, that's one thing that didn't work for me, because I eventually dropped out. The only reason I went to begin with was to please, like, my parents and teachers and society and stuff like that. But the reason I finished was because my boyfriend, who I was not obsessed with, but really infatuated or in love with or whatever, I really wanted I really valued his opinion. How that is, if you're in love with someone, you will do anything for them, or you like really value their opinion and whatever. So because of him, which I hate to admit, but it is because of him, I finished school, and actually he's also the reason I got my master's degree. So I don't know, maybe that's something you can do, is just become like, I don't know, find someone who's going to be a really good influence on you, I guess, as far as that. So, yeah, I know, I hate how, like, my motivation stems from another person, because I don't think people should rely on other people or whatever. Although I do think having social support is a good thing, and studies have shown that it's a good thing. I know a lot of my followers don't have very good social support. That's just a thing that comes along with a lot of these problems, but if you can find someone to help you, motivate you, then, that's what worked for me. I'm sure there are other ways. I'll try and, like, think of other ways that would have also motivated me to put in another video, but just to be perfectly honest, that's how I was motivated, was because I was in love with someone, and they wanted me to finish, and they thought I should finish, and whatever. So I just did what he told me to do, basically, and got my bachelor's, and then I went back because I wanted to live near him, and the only reason that I could have the money to move was to get financial aid, and with a master's degree in the United States, you get like $20,000 in student loan per year. So that was enough for me to move out of my parents' house and start school and move to his city. Ironically, once I moved there, he had to move away, but at least I was still under the spell of wanting to, you know, do what I thought would make him happy, or at least happier with me, or I don't know. I mean, eventually I was more like self-motivated and just really enjoyed the program that I was taking and thought it was really interesting, and, you know, eventually, for my master's degree at least, I, you know, enjoyed it and was more self-motivated and all that stuff, but at the time, I was just kind of like, doing it out of love or whatever, so anyways, I don't recommend that for anyone else, and it might not be possible for other people, but just to be perfectly honest about my particular situation. Anyways, okay, so next question. I just watched your boyfriend tag, and just wondering if you or your boyfriend were slightly racist. Because of the mention of the Klan and 9/11, I got that impression. Also, what are your political views, like what's going on right now with Hillary, Trump, and Bernie, and the stance on immigration, gun control, minimum wage, etc.? Are my boyfriend and I slightly racist? Okay, this is a really controversial subject. I am definitely not racist. I mean, I try not to be. I feel like men will accidentally be sexist, and, well, even women will accidentally be sexist, and then, you know, white people will accidentally be racist, and then other, like, it's really hard to just, because we live in our own little world, we live in our own little reality, and all, in my opinion, or what I've noticed in the world, is that all races, all people tend to discriminate against people, and I definitely firmly think it is wrong to discriminate against someone because of their skin color or race or whatever. I think it's wrong to judge someone based solely on their skin color or race. That being said, there are other things that I do discriminate against people for, and, you know, they might happen to be a minority, and I know that maybe they can't help the situation they're in. First of all, before I say any of this, no, I'm not racist, or I don't try to be, and I don't agree with it at all. But that being said, I'm trying to be like kind of just talking frankly about things. If I do see someone or am around someone who has other qualities that make me feel unsafe, then I will discriminate against them. I'm not only discriminating against them because of their skin color, there will be other factors involved that are making me feel uncomfortable or unsafe or whatever, like, and, you know, it's not stupid things like they're wearing a hoodie, like I wear hoodies. I don't see how wearing a hoodie makes someone more frightening. It's nothing stupid like that, like their clothes they're wearing, because I don't judge people, you know, I don't judge people's character on the clothes they're wearing because I think that's really superficial. It'll be other things like the way they walk or their stance or their energy and the way they talk. I feel like if you're not speaking proper English, you're just not my kind of person, personally. And it's not a race thing, it's probably just like an elitist thing, like I think people should speak proper English or whatever. If you're not speaking proper English, it doesn't matter what race you are, and I'm not talking proper English like you have like a foreign accent or something like that, you know, I'm talking about if you've lived in the United States your entire life, please learn grammar in school and don't talk like you're an idiot, please. And everyone judges people on different things because we all like different qualities about people. I prefer if people are nice and don't act like criminals and don't act like violent and don't act like thugs or I don't know, I like being around people who are upstanding members of society. And once again, I'm not saying that
black people or Muslims or anything like that, or Mexicans or whatever people think are more likely to be off-putting, but there are certain characteristics, no matter what color you are or what race you are, that's going to be off-putting to me. And that's like that with everyone. Like, people try and be on their high horse and be high and mighty about not discriminating against anyone ever, but just to be frank, instead of being like politically correct, there are certain types of people that I prefer to associate with. I prefer to associate with people who aren't sexual deviants, who cheat on their partner or try and sleep with every girl that they come in contact with, or in their music make slurs about women, and for people who think that women should have basic human rights. And I prefer people to be polite and have manners, and I prefer people to not be violent or be criminals. So those are just the traits that I prefer in a person, no matter what color they are. So anyways, okay, so my camera battery just died, but I'm back now. That's all the questions I'm going to answer for this video, because this is probably a really long video. Okay, so before I go, I want to give a shout out to my patrons. So I'm going to give a shout out to the people who have donated $10 or more to my channel, because that's what I do. If you donate $10 to my channel during a certain month, during the month, I will give you a shout out, usually in my Q&A, but hopefully just at some time I will give you a shout out. The first person I want to give a shout out to is Sam. So I want to give a shout out to Sam because he's been very supportive of my photography, and he's actually a photographer, and his photography is amazing. So you guys should check out his website. It's sambarrow.co.nz, and also he has a Facebook, which is facebook.com/photography by Sam Barrow, Barrow. So yeah, if you donate $10 to my channel, I'll give you a shout out in a video every month that you donate. And if you donate $5 or more, your name will be listed at the end of my videos. So the little credits at the end of my videos, those are my patrons. I want to give a shout out to David, and also Casey, and Patrick, and John, and Lewis, Sam, okay, and anyone else? Yes, Ben, and that is it. So as you'll notice, it's like the same group of people. So thank you guys so much for being loyal supporters of my channel. Highly appreciate it. It is extremely helpful for me. Please become a patron, because like, there's no way to like make money from doing these videos other than Patreon and like other side projects, because so many people just use ad block, and also there's so many people making YouTube videos that we don't really get very much money from ad revenue. So anyways, please consider becoming a patron or donating $1, like whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna shut up now and just thank my patrons. So thank you to my patrons. If you would like to become a patron, there are perks for becoming a patron, other than getting a shout out or getting your name listed. You also get to see my videos before everyone else. I always, well, not always, but 9 times out of 10 post my video on Patreon before I post it live on YouTube. So if you really want to get the first comment or see it before everyone else, or just like can't wait until Friday or whatever, then you should become a patron. And yeah, you can donate just like $1 a month, and that's it. And that way you can see my video before everyone else, which some people won't really find that big of a deal. But I also post the same things that I post in the exclusive section of my app. Most of the same things. So, yeah. So I post exclusive content on my Patreon also, such as photography that I take, and podcasts, and extras and outtakes and cat videos and whatever. If you want extras, then you'll be safe being a patron or subscribing to exclusive content on my app. Anyways, it helps me out a ton. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that this video was helpful in some way. And if not, then maybe you can check out one of my other videos, or maybe stay tuned for another one of my videos in the future. So please subscribe if you haven't, or follow me on my Facebook or Twitter or Tumblr. or Instagram or whatever. Anyways, whatever is your favorite social media, I'm probably on there. So that is it. I hope everyone has an amazing day, and please join me for my next video next Friday, or maybe sooner. I don't know. Okay, bye! Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this video today. So in this video I'm going to be unboxing this box from Vegan Cuts. So if you don't know, Vegan Cuts is a subscription box service, and they send you vegan snacks